We live?
I'm gonna pretend we're not.
We are totally live, aren't we?
Determining
Streaming live. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Awesome Hardware, where Paul and I get together and drink a bunch of beer and talk about tech and news and stuff and stories and play games. It's a lot of fun. If you're joining us for the first time, we do it in two parts. So you're watching Side A right now, which is going to be on my channel, and then Side B, you're going to flip over and head over to Paul's Hardware. His YouTube channel is youtube.com/Paul's Hardware, and you can watch Side B right there. Each part is about an hour long, give or take. So hopefully you guys are in it for the long run, and those of you just joining us live for the first time, also very, very, very good to have you guys on board. But we do have some cool stuff happening today. First off, we're going to start my segment, which is to fund or not to fund. And this is the Kickstarter segment where we take a bunch of crowdsourced campaigns and we...
That was the most breathless intro to the show you have ever done.
Really?
I applaud your efficiency, though.
Oh, thank you.
You forgot about us opening our beers.
You know what? That's probably why I was so on point, like, is because I'm
really
not half
getting to
drunk.
that.
I think probably because I've only had one beer today, so I'm very let's get down to business sort of thing.
Indeed.
Part two on your channel is going to be quite different, I would imagine.
Wow, people are saying the audio is working.
What?
This is fantastic.
That's a first.
We felt really bad about some of the audio issues we had. So just so you guys know, and sorry to get a brief segue from Kyle's first segment.
Yeah, who cares about my segment?
We're going to open our beers, but we're using XSplit again, so that is part of what's going on today. But hopefully it's working. We're hearing it's okay, and so that's good. But
that's right, Stress from Maximum. We can't believe the audio is working perfectly either.
I'm gonna pop this open though. This is the sixth glass. This is a quadruple ale from the Smokestack series. This is made by Boulevard Brewing Company in Kansas City, Missouri, and it being a quad means that it is 4 times as delicious as any other beer.
I don't think that's what that means.
It is exactly.
I don't know about that.
I'm gonna go ahead.
I think it means your liver can process it 4 times as efficiently.
It's kind of a terrible pour right there.
It's like a quad core beer. And I'm drinking a Clown Shoes Blakecorn Unidragon. It's a Russian Imperial Stout.
No.
Clown Shoes is one of my fave brewing companies, and Blakecorn Unidragon comes from the mashing together of Black Dragon and Unicorn. That's how they came up with the name. So hopefully it's good.
One other comment: if you guys we're working on doing the Twitch partner thing, although I neglected to follow up on that this week, but that will hopefully get us to do the encoding on the Twitch side so that we can have mobile viewing and stuff like that. We're encoding at a lower bit rate today, so we're coming at like about 2200-ish. So if you're on a more limited connection, hopefully that will help you out a little bit more. This quality is going to suffer, but
hopefully it'll be more reliable for those of you who don't have quite the bandwidth that we do. So,
and we are working on doing the partner thing so that we can get encode. Did I even tell you that? I don't think I even told you that.
Yeah, Paul just makes decisions for both of us and without telling me. It's cool.
Because Kyle would clearly be opposed to that. He doesn't want you guys to have encoding.
Quality must suffer under my reign.
Yes.
All right, so on that note, let's just get down to it. My first segment is to fund or not to fund.
But how will people know what segment we're on, Kyle?
I think probably if we had an awesome little banner to show them. Wow.
That is a title.
I can't believe we've stepped up our quality.
Cheers to the title.
This is groundbreaking.
Kyle put these together, these lower third segments you're seeing. They're all his original artwork.
Spent a lot of time on them.
Asterisk.
That's right. So, glad to have those on board now in the show.
Oh, that's delicious.
Probably make some revisions to that as well. I kind of want to sip of that later. All right, so the first one, if you guys aren't familiar with how this segment goes, because even if you've been on the show before...
we're peaking a lot. Sorry, I'll see if I can turn that down.
He's going to fix the auto, so I'll talk softer in my calm and collected voice, my sober voice. For those of you unfamiliar with this segment, it's actually, we go on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, websites like that, and we try to find a couple different campaigns, crowdsourced campaigns, crowdfunded campaigns, and to see if they're actually worth our investment. We kind of analyze them, break it down, what the features are, what the cost is for the item being advertised, and then Paul and I make a decision, and we ask you guys as well to give us your opinion and input on these particular campaigns. So first off, are you ready? Oh, it's already up there.
It's already up there, Kyle.
We've got the SnapPower Charger. Now this is a very simple item that when I saw it, I scratched my head and thought to myself, don't one of these already exist? Like, how does this not already exist? I couldn't believe that this is the first time something like this has been implemented. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe this has been done before, but maybe this company is just doing it differently. But the basics is that it's a hardwired USB charger that is built into your AC wall adapter cover plate. So a little cover plate, a little white cover plate that goes over your AC ports. There's a USB charger built into it. So it requires no wiring. It's already hardwired in. It literally takes 5-10 seconds to install. You remove your standard normal non-USB plate and you put this one on. And
that
all
guy
of a
looks
sudden
trustworthy. I like that guy.
He's a fit white guy. What's not to trust?
He seemed really happy. He seemed genuinely... All right, so...
He does.
This requires you to take the socket off of your wall and replace it with a different socket?
No, that's what they're showing normal ones are like.
Normally you'd have to do that.
Competitors.
Oh,
But
that's
this
for
one,
the lame, crappy...
Look at how easy that was. They didn't even need a time-lapse. They didn't even need a time-lapse.
How... That's impossible. How does it make an electrical connection?
How does it know? Yeah, so that's one of the other things, is that it actually uses the screws. It's got like a power prong thing where it uses the screws in the socket to conduct the electricity and transfer it over.
Okay.
Which I thought it was a pretty sweet idea. Just baffled that this doesn't already exist, because I wish I would have thought of this sooner. And you know, made my millions and wouldn't have to do this stupid show.
But hey, this show's awesome.
It is. That's why it's called Awesome.
Well, like, all right. So here's what I'm going to be doing soon, right? Hopefully soon. Hopefully, maybe even no. I can't. I'm not going to promise anything. Is that pretty good?
It's super good. Want to trade a sip?
Okay.
Do a quick.
We're gonna get cooties.
Yes.
Some cooties. Yeah. Oh, that is quite good.
That is delicious.
That is quite good.
I really don't like quads.
Delicious beer. What the hell were we talking about?
You were talking about that.
Yes. So here's what I'm going to be doing some upgrades here in the garage pretty soon. I need more space. I need more space to put things on.
Right.
So I'm looking for like some power strips that have USB plugs on them. And to me, that's a little bit more like usable than this, because I mean it's got the USB on there, but it's still down there where the plug is on the wall.
True.
Right, which is not necessarily the most convenient. That's always the biggest like pain in the ass when you're like at a hotel room or something,
right?
And you have to plug in like when the plugs are way out of the way and you're like your cord's not long enough to set the phone by the bed or whatever, like that kind of thing. So that kind of limits the usability of this to me, I guess, just a little bit. And then my other question would be like future compliancy, like USB 3.1 standards, which can charge like 100 times faster or something like that.
Yeah, because I think this is only rated at 1 amp.
Okay, so
if
that
it had been 2.4 or something like that, it'd be a bit more compelling. But just to keep your phone from dying, I guess. Because all right, so again on your power cord, your power strip idea or your argument is that I could see some cases where just having it on the socket itself is good enough for me. Because I've got this one wall socket that's right behind the couch in my living room, and there's nothing else plugged into this outlet. It's completely empty, so I don't really need a power strip there, and my cord can easily reach behind. But it's annoying to have to get the little AC to USB adapter to plug in there, and then have the cable plugged in as well. So something like that would be more convenient. The other thing about it, though, is I wish that there was another USB port on the left side, because this is only on the right side.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I feel like they could have easily squeezed another one in there.
Space size if you're dealing with like a limited area behind a couch or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing to back this doesn't take much money if you want to get one. $12.
So the way I could see doing this is if you just bought a bunch of them in bulk. Let's say you bought 10 of them and you just put them around your house. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
Because then you'd never have to worry about getting that USB to AC adapter.
So I could see this being something like for hotels or resorts. They always like to have amenities that are in there. Oh crap! I typed this whole tweet out. I didn't actually tweet it. There we go. I cursed. I used profanity. Hopefully that will draw a crowd.
How dare you.
Not the right crowd. Some ruffians might be joining us very soon. So yeah, $12. I don't know.
If you really need
I'm on the fence about this one. I can see situations where it'd be so nice.
Yeah.
But it seems a little bit more limited to me than.
I feel like the idea. I feel like it's great in concept, but the idea, the execution is still in its infancy, and I'd like to see like where they could go with this.
Okay.
With the 2.0 model.
Well, that is the SnapPower Charger.
Yes.
USB charger and a cover plate.
Yes.
Excellent.
All right. So the next one that we also found on Kickstarter is the Woolet. And this is going to be an interesting one because it's the world's slimmest smart wallet for the modern man.
Okay.
That's how they're advertising it.
So you can tell it's modern because there's a panning time lapse.
Oh yeah, and they've got
cars
some like
and a
really
cityscape.
obscure indie band playing the intro
Nice.
music and stuff. So you know it's cool. But basically, it's Bluetooth enabled wallet. It's made out of leatherette or whatever. No, it's genuine leather, half leather. It's 10 millimeters thick, so it is fairly thin, but it could hold all of your cards and your money like any other wallet.
Okay.
Except it is also app enabled, so you could actually do some cool things with it when paired to your smartphone, for example. So this guy right here in the video, he's trying to find his lost wallet, and so he just opens up the app on his phone, and he can actually force his wallet to ring. There's like a little tiny speaker, and it'll just ring, which I thought was really cool.
That's handy.
So the idea behind this wallet is that you'll never lose or misplace your wallet again.
What if I've never lost or misplaced my wallet ever?
There's a first
in the
for everything,
place?
Paul. That is
guess
the
that's
whole
true.
idea and concept of this product is to instill fear into your heart that there will be a time
that eventually I'll lose my
you
wallet.
will misplace it.
Okay.
The other cool thing about it is that it has two-way security. So not only can you prompt your wallet to ring, but you can actually have your wallet tell you if you've left your phone behind.
What?
Yeah.
That's handy.
They can talk to each other. It's a two-way street type thing.
They have some very good photography.
Yes.
I like the wood grain.
Hipsters.
Very hipster in the photography side.
Yeah.
So it's very slim.
Right. Very slim. I think
Syncs
it's a
with your
bifold.
smartphone.
It looks like a bifold
Looks
wallet.
like a bifold.
I would like to see a trifold.
You like the trifold?
I do like the trifold.
What the hell is wrong with you?
No, wait,
why would
what
you?
do I have
Why
right
would
now?
you want a much bulkier?
No, I'm sorry. I have a bifold.
That's
I
a
like
bifold.
I thought it was a trifold for some reason.
I used a trifold for like
don't
a
like
month. This was the worst month of my life.
Yeah.
I might be exaggerating, but I don't,
Dramatic.
trifold. I don't understand the trifold wallet. It's
No, I agree with you.
it adds a lot of bulk.
For very little additional storage.
Space. Yeah. I've been interested in these like little tiny mini wallets. It's like a money clip, but like also a little bit of a wallet, and
Right.
that's always seems kind of interesting to me.
Sergeant Pandasaurus, or no, I'm sorry, it's the Burns 327. He just commented and said, "Oh wait, guys, my wallet died." So this is a really good point that he brings up. Like if it's app enabled, blah blah blah. There is a battery?
Wasn't
and
he
what
saying?
happens if it dies?
I thought it was saying that it charges by the motion.
It is self-charging.
Okay,
I was
so
going to bring that up. Yeah, so they're still
pretty
experimenting
cool.
with whether it's movement or body heat that self-propels it. So they're kind of an experimental phase right there.
Yeah.
But you would never have to charge it in theory, which is kind of nice. $99 to unlock. What do you guys think? $100?
There's echo. Are we getting echo?
Echo.
Now there's naturally echo because we're in the garage and echo happens.
But is it echo more
if it's
than usual?
rebroadcasting the speaker, then that would be bad. What I can probably do is mute that, and if we are getting echo, oh, you know what I bet it was doing?
What?
It was playing the stream audio somehow. It's interesting. A big echo.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we know there's a bit of echo, but I killed the audio coming from the system. You should only be hearing the mic now, so hopefully that will help.
They said it's only coming from me.
What?
How is that possible? I mean, we have a
I
mic.
don't know.
We have one microphone that's right up there.
I could probably like listen to it. I do have the stream going.
My voice just echoes occasionally.
I mean,
Just something I was born with. I
look,
can't really explain.
we've done due diligence today to ensure that everyone has a lovely stream. So I want to make sure if there's an echo,
Yes.
that it's at least like livable.
The garbage is awesome. No, the garage is awesome.
Of course, needs a video to load and all that stuff. I of course have to watch another
Mm.
commercial. I really wish there was some way for it to recognize who you are and not play commercials. That'd be useful. Yeah, the stream looks great though.
Yeah.
It does. If it would load. At least this singles clip of it that I have sounds good.
So there's no echo on your end.
No, I'm not really hearing much. All right. So I think all right. It's good. All right. Sorry about that.
All right. Cool.
Moving right along. All right. So how much you have to pay for this Woolet?
$100.
$100. $100.
But I mean, how much do you pay for a normal wallet anyway? Like usually $50 for a nice one that's gonna. Because a wallet
Like
is something that
20,
you
30,
should.
$40.
A wallet is something that I feel is a good investment for a guy because
Yeah.
you'll always be using it every day of your life. And if you get a crap wallet, you're gonna have to buy so many other wallets, periodically.
If you just think this is a good project, you can pledge $5 and get an RFID blocking sleeve, which is kind of useful. I mean, very useful if you live someplace where people use RFID scanners. I guess.
I can smell the sarcasm a mile away.
Well, it's
It
more
is a good
common in
point,
places like crowded cities and that sort of thing.
True.
It's a lot easier to find those. All right, so I see $35 here, Kat. Oh no, $29 for a Woolet.
Someone would pay.
29.
That's what someone would pay.
You get a Woolet. Oh no, a cover of your choice. What?
No, it's definitely like 100 for the first basic Woolet.
Oh, so all the
99.
early bird ones are gone for $90. All right, so yeah, you gotta pay $100.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a little on the steep side for a wallet. I'll be honest. That's a lot more than I would consider spending.
I mean, I paid $50 for my wallet that I've had for 3 years, and it's still in pretty good shape. I could see myself paying another $50 for the peace of mind of never losing it.
Yeah.
Especially
I just feel like they'd have more people jumping in if it was more towards the price of an actual wallet. That's all I'm
It's
saying.
so much more than an actual wallet.
Okay.
All right. I guess it also depends on your personality. If you never lose your wallet and you're fairly confident that you can hold on to it and you're a responsible adult, you probably don't see the extra value. But
Well, the good news here for anyone who is interested in this is that their goal was 15 grand and they've raised 300.
it says something.
So
a lot of people lose
there's
their
a lot of
wallets.
people interested in this, and apparently a lot of people lose their wallets. That's not something that I personally have to deal with very often. I guess I'm lucky in that. All right, we have one more.
Okay.
Oh crap! I just closed it. Hold on. Wrong
All right.
button.
Moving on to the last product that I found for to fund or not to fund today is the Tiko. I think it's Tiko or Tiko.
I think it's Tiko.
Tiko, the Unibody 3D printer. So
This one I like.
this is pretty cool. I would get this too. For many reasons. So first off, it's a super affordable 3D printer. But
The video for it teaches you words.
it does. It does. It's very educational.
It's a little bit.
United.
It's a little bit on the snarky side. A little bit. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's a little
hey, here's
patronizing.
what these 3-syllable words mean.
Yeah, it's a little
that-
patronizing
but
at
anyway.
times. But anyway, the whole point of this thing is that, all right, so with a traditional 3D printer, they usually have a multi-part frame, which is a lot more expensive to manufacture and a little bit more clunky. This product prides itself on its unibody construction.
Okay.
So it's actually just one enclosed unit.
Perfect timing as you're talking about this.
You'll notice when you see it, it doesn't even really look like a 3D printer. It's because it's actually in a enclosed shell with all of the mechanisms within it, which apparently is a lot cheaper to produce somehow, according to the video. But
Yeah, well,
that's
that's one piece that you need.
that has allowed this company to sell it at just $179.
So that is
which
awesome.
is pretty damn awesome. Yeah. So $180. It's like, how could you not, like, you'd be losing money if you didn't buy it.
Yeah.
It's pretty damn cheap. Even if it wasn't the best.
What
It was $180.
What I was surprised about, because it's got these 3 axes that kind of control the thing, so I'd be curious at like how detailed it can actually be, because it's got this 3-axis thing going instead of an XY.
Right.
Or XYZ, and the print area, when I first looked at it, I was like,
Delta
oh, that's going to print such tiny little things, but they're actually showing some pretty reasonably large size
Yeah, you can get
items that they're
about
they're
5
printing
inches
here.
tall and a little over 5 inches wide,
Yeah.
depending on how you orient the thing. But speaking back to
PLA, ABS, nylon, HIPS, and more.
going back to what you were saying about like how fine and how accurate or precise it could print. Now I don't know too much about 3D printers.
50
We
to
probably have to
250
get
microns.
50 to 200. Thank you, Paul.
Sorry, you're like leading up to this. I'm gonna drop this stat right
I'm
now.
gonna drop the stat. You're
Everyone's gonna be like, oh, and I'm just like,
so
yeah,
anticlimactic.
Sorry.
But yeah, 50 to 250 microns. I guess the lower the better, the higher the resolution. So 50. I don't know if that's really good or if it's just average or what. But they were pretty. The company was pretty excited advertising that metric. So let us know.
So it's a delta. A delta 3D printer is what you call a 3D printer with 3 sets of arms moving in unison.
Yes. So apparently they go on to list why that is superior over conventional alternative methods of 3D printing. Oh, another cool thing is that the filament, the spool filament, is non-proprietary.
I really like that.
That is really nice because they could have easily said, no, we're going to make it proprietary and make a few extra bucks off of people because they have to use our special spool, but you can just experiment a lot easier.
I've had several XYZ printers come through, and those are the ones you can get for about $500. And every time they come through and I look at them, I was like, really? You made a freaking proprietary cartridge for your filaments?
Yeah, it just seems such like
which
a cash grab.
Which is basically the spool of filaments like you have with a normal printer, and then they took it and put it in a big box with
Yeah.
a chip on the bottom that reads when you drop it into the machine. I'm like, oh, come on.
It's like DRM for your 3D printer.
Yeah, well, they're taking the printer model, which is that a lot of printers have gone with, like 2D printers on paper have used for a while, which is that the printers don't cost very much.
Yeah, but they make all their money back.
All the money comes from the ink.
Oh my
Because
God.
you pay a lot more for the ink.
I spent like $60 the other month on ink alone.
Oh, that's terrible.
Didn't even get
But-
black ink.
But so that but $180 though. $180 for this thing.
Yeah.
Like
Pretty
holy
badass.
crap.
That's pretty badass.
Oh man, I wish I would have gotten on this ground floor. $100 you could have gotten for the early bird special. 100 people got one of these for $100.
Wow. That's a
not bad.
steal.
That is a
That's
steal.
a total steal. And lastly, it can connect to Wi-Fi, so you can actually print from any or most internet-friendly devices.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to print from your tablet or something, just print from the couch.
Wi-Fi's cool.
Kind of sweet.
There's something about like there's an app that goes along with it or something, or am I?
Yeah.
confusing that with
You can
something
use
else?
the app to send instructions to the printer from your phone.
But
or whatever.
like a phone app. I haven't
Yeah.
seen many people who are like, I really want to do some 3D modeling on my phone and then like send it to my 3D printer.
Right. Yeah. I'm not
Like,
sure
while I'm-
exactly. I'm sure there are some really
But-
niche
Yeah.
applications for that. But
I mean, I
it's an
suppose
option.
if you're using it to like browse through pre-made 3D models and just send them to the printer, that would actually be very useful because then you could queue up something
Right.
while you're not there, and 3D printing takes
Yes,
forever. So
exactly. That's
Cool.
a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let us know what you guys think in the chat. But that pretty much wraps it up for To Fund or Not to Fund. I thought we had some pretty good contenders.
November
this
is when
episode.
they're going to be assembling and shipping these, so that's pretty cool.
In
Yeah,
November.
some very nice fundable Kickstarter projects
Yeah,
there.
I'd say
I think the printer has got to be my favorite among those.
I would have
the
to
Tiko.
agree.
I've been very interested in a 3D printer. I don't have one yet. I'm hoping I can get a sampled one at some point because they're expensive, and dropping $1,000 on one isn't something I can necessarily do right now.
Right.
But definitely something that I feel like, as far as especially when it ties into the technology and computers and DIY stuff.
Yeah.
It's very.
What's the first thing you would print if you had a 3D printer?
Probably a phallus of some shape.
Phallus, eh?
Yeah. What? No. I
Would it be modeled
Perhaps
after yourself or someone else?
You
that
can't
is
make
close
me make that kind of decision right here on the spur of the moment,
anybody else
Kyle.
that comes to
It's
mind
really, you gotta.
on,
We'll leave that to
sure.
to the viewers to speculate upon.
Yeah, I was just shooting in the dark. But
Okay.
All right, let's move on to our next segment, which is Build a Rig.
Build a rig.
Yeah. So
Well,
I think it's
it's
been
too
a week
bad.
or two.
Too bad we're out of lower thirds to pop up when we do a segment.
Aw.
Oh wait, we're not.
We're not. There's another
Look
one.
at that.
Yeah.
Look how understanding you guys are of the fact that we have now moved on to another segment called Build a Rig.
All right, so let me just explain my thought process, my creative process for this one. I replaced the I in the word rig
I see.
with a screwdriver.
Ah,
Eh?
that is.
Come on.
And that was done ironically.
Yes.
Right? Because we're not actually building shit right now, right?
We're not
nothing.
building anything. We're building in our minds, but not in the physical
All right.
world. So
Cool. So
this is where I pick a certain specific type of computer, and then we just pick out all the parts and theoretically build it, just by sharing all the different parts that we've chosen. So today's Build-A-Rig system is going to be the Money is No Object gaming rig.
Oh yeah.
So
Money is no. That means money don't matter.
money don't matter.
right.
It ain't
That's-
no object. An
So-
object it is not. So a lot of the times when we put systems together, or even when I do like builds on my channel, it's always like, oh, how do I make it affordable, or how do I make it a budget gaming PC, right? What can I squeeze into my limited budget? So for this round, I thought I would just flip it upside down and say, how much money can we actually spend, or what's the craziest gaming rig we could put together if money was not an object? So starting off with the CPU, 5960X, of course. I mean, and this isn't by any means an attempt to try to rack up the price as much as possible, because I could have made it a lot more, but we're tailoring this to be a gaming rig at the end of the day. So 5960X, I mean, you could have gone with like dual Xeon processors, right?
But that wouldn't make sense for a gaming rig,
it wouldn't make sense
Kyle.
for a gaming rig.
No, it
No, I'm
wouldn't.
saying that's why. Yes, exactly.
And we all know people who spend as much. Wait, did you start with the price here? Or are you saving that for the end? How much this is actually worth?
I'm gonna save it for the end.
Okay.
I mean, people can probably just add it
I
as
hadn't-
we're going along. The
I hadn't
prices are
looked
right
at this
there.
for What?
You hadn't looked at it before?
I hadn't looked at this before, but now I figured out how you have gotten the price up to the price that you
Yes.
did it. That's
Yes.
quite a storage
All right,
array,
so let's just
Kyle.
go down the list. Let's
All
just go
right.
down the list.
5960X.
5960X, 8-core Intel processor, top of the line,
All right.
consumer, blah, blah, blah.
Cooling it with an H110i.
H110i GT, 280 millimeter radiator cooler from Corsair. Asus Rampage 5
It's a big
Extreme, ridiculous ROG board
Yeah.
for X99.
That's probably what you got to go
64
with.
gigs of Corsair Dominator
Ooh,
Platinum.
8x8 kit. 2800, Kyle?
2800.
They didn't have a 3000
They
kit?
didn't have a 3000.
Okay, all right.
Plebs.
I guess we'll
Keep on walking.
squeak by with the 2800 8x8 gig kit.
It's just memory frequency, Paul.
So how are you configuring the storage array, Kyle?
All right, so now for the storage, I've eliminated all hard drives, and I've just gone with SSDs.
5, 6,
So we've
7.
got-
We have eight
We
of
got
these.
8 Intel DC of their S3710s, which are 1.2 terabyte SSDs, at about $2,000 a pop. We got 8 of those, so about $16,000 of this system is comprised of SSDs. No, this is amazing. All right,
What? How did these? What's the connection on these? Why are they so much money?
they're
1.2 terabyte. SATA 6.
yeah.
It's just because they're 1.2 terabytes. That's all.
Yeah, you get that
They're not very-
diminishing law of returns.
Wow, Newegg has a deal going on these right now.
You get a whole
Only
$100 off.
Only $2,000. Wait,
Mobo.
can I? I'm gonna give.
All right,
Gotta
so
check the Newegg. All right, so this is
So-
SATA 3 MLC.
yeah.
You don't even get SLC for $2,000.
No, you don't even get SLC. I was going for
You get-
sheer capacity here.
Okay.
Because we're not having any mechanical hard drives. Remember.
I just since you're spending $16,000 on these SSDs, I just need to take a little double 5-year warranty.
There
These
you
are
go.
gonna these are gonna last.
See, practical.
550 megabytes per second read, 520 megabytes per second write.
Yeah.
Latency of about 55 microseconds.
Yes.
Pretty impressive. MTBF.
So what I was
okay.
thinking about these 8 drives is putting them in a RAID 6 array. So you would actually lose the capacity of 2 of the drives, but you could have up to 2 drives fail at any given
Okay.
moment and still have the parity bit recover those lost
That would
drives.
be very interesting to see performance-wise. I would just be curious.
Yeah.
What how close to a RAID? Like if you set these all up in RAID 0 versus RAID 6.
Sure. Yeah.
That would be actually a really interesting experiment to do.
Yeah.
Because if you guys don't do much with RAID arrays, like when you take a bunch of drives and mash them all together like that, there's
Right.
some overhead that goes into if you have a RAID controller chip or if it's on the CPU side, if it's a software RAID, that slows things down a lot, significantly in some situations. But
Right.
a RAID 6 array with this many SSDs, especially, did you do a RAID controller card on here?
No. They're all going straight into the board.
So you're using all 8
all 8 of the
connectors on
Rampage
the Rampage
5s.
5 Extreme.
Yep.
Okay, that will work.
But the reason why I didn't include a RAID card is because if you scroll down more.
Okay.
All right, well, let's talk about the rest of the parts really quick. Corsair 900D, tons of space for the video cards. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over the video cards. 4 Titan X's.
Strider's pointing out that you can get a Samsung 850 EVO 1 terabyte for $340.
You shut your face, Strider.
God damn it, Strider.
We're going for money. No, I'm
just trying to spend cash here. Look, this computer's worth $24,000. Okay, every penny of
you
that.
get that 0.2.
performance.
That 0.2 terabytes right there. That's 200 extra gigs per drive. All right.
Yeah.
It's totally worth the extra couple grand.
Why do I feel like my side of the show is gonna be sloppy?
Because you
It's
are
okay.
a sloppy individual.
It's okay.
Clearly. All right, so for video cards, 4 Titan X's. Obviously, the 980 Ti's aren't out yet. Might have considered going with those, but yeah, that's what we get. So we've got 4 Titan X's. That's $4,000 right there.
Okay.
Because why not, right? They do 4-way SLI.
So you went with the EVGAs there. Excellent choice.
Yeah, with the EVGAs.
They're all the Titan X's are the same.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. 900D, so plenty of space there.
900D.
1600 watt EVGA Supernova power supply.
80 plus,
80 plus titanium.
Yep.
Now, why did you
Only
go with
the
the
best.
EVGA here instead of the Corsair?
The AX 1500i.
Yeah, the AX1500i.
Just to get that additional 100 watts, because this
Okay.
Because this maxed out. This computer maxed out. We're already talking like almost 1,400 watts. We're pushing 1,400 watts.
I'm glad you added a Blu-ray burner.
I had to. I had to. Because what if you want to watch a Blu-ray? Like, oh, it's a $25,000 system, but you can't watch a Blu-ray on it.
At this price, especially with the 900D and the expansion bays you have available, I would expect maybe 4 Blu-ray burners. That way you could set up like a Blu-ray duplication.
Well, I think you only have 3 5 1/4 inch
going.
bays on the 900D.
You could pay for the cost of this system in just under 10 years.
Make your money back.
As long as Blu-rays maintain their value.
Just ship them to Mexico and sell them there. Yep.
That's an excellent builder rig though, Kyle. So $24,323.
That was the final cost.
And 7 cents. And that is, of course, if you go through PC Part Picker. Great website, PC Part Picker, if you don't already go there. And of course, because what they do is they give you the best prices as they can find it online for all the products.
Right.
Which is great. And they actually did a site update like a month or two ago.
So actually, that 24 grand is like a huge amount of savings right there.
Yeah, I mean, you'd normally be paying at least 27 grand for a system of this caliber.
And let's not forget about water cooling, right? So you can even do some custom water cooling in the system and probably get it to 30 grand easy if you were really decking it out with all the bells and whistles. Custom cable sleeving, which granted isn't very expensive. But still something to consider. Also, even if you wanted to push, they didn't have this in PC Part Picker's database, but going with something like a Case Labs case instead of a 900D, where you can fully trick it out and customize it the way you want it to.
Well,
something like their Merlin ST10 would be really good.
And we've seen, I mean, if you guys are, PC DIY enthusiasts, like, you probably have seen systems like this before, like, just balls to the wall. How much money can we spend on like a desktop PC? But usually what I've seen in the past, this is the first time I've seen that much dropped on SSDs to like crank that cost up. But what you usually see is either $1,000 graphics cards, 4 of them, which you also did here.
Yep.
Titan X's or that sort of thing. But what you frequently see is, first off, like a good $1,500 to $2 grand spent on water cooling. Because, I mean, if you want to jack up the price of a PC, do like a hardline straight water cooling build and add a bunch of fittings on there. The fittings, which are going to be 10 or 20 bucks a pop, and you need like 30 of them.
How much more expensive is hardline than soft tubing?
It depends on how you do it. If you're bending the hardline, it can actually be less expensive. Okay. Or the same, because you need less fittings. It's fittings. Every time you need a fitting on a joint, like you need an angled fitting and you need a cap for each end. Right. So that's like, every angle there is going to be 10 to 15 bucks plus another like 10 or 15 bucks for each. Yeah, like that just, you can easily spend $200, $300, $400, $500 bucks on fittings. You would just
specify hardline tubing, so I was wondering if that had anything to do with the price or.
No, I was mainly saying that because hardline tubing, like if you're going straight runs, you're not bending the tubes, is where you often see custom water cooled builds that have lots and lots of fittings. Okay. Because you'd have a straight run here, and then you need to turn 90 degrees this way. So you have a fitting with 2 caps on, so you go there. Gotcha. And then you need another turn. So that's where that really adds up.
Oh, so you're using fittings to connect the tubing together.
Yes, like, and that's why hardline tubing, when you bend it, every time you can just heat it up and do a bend.
Saves you a fitting.
You're saving a fitting or a fitting and two connectors on there. Like it can be pretty significant. So yeah.
Got it.
Anyway, though, moving right along. Is that the end of your segment, Kyle?
That's the end of it. So, I don't know. I had fun with this one because I didn't have to really think about, trying to save as much money as possible or trying to squeeze in things. I just kind of ran with it.
For the 3 or 4 people in chat who are going to buy this system.
Screw you.
Wait, what?
Can I come over sometime?
Okay. You clearly have too much money. That's what it came to. All right.
Save some for the rest of us.
By the way, cheers to all of you guys who have joined us for today's awesome hardware. We've broken 200 once again.
Hey! I just noticed that. Yep.
Beautiful.
Cheers.
Thanks, you guys, for being here. We hope you're having a good time. That's what we're here for, is to have a good time with y'all. And by the way, I've been kind of watching Twitter, but at the very end, once we get to the end of my segment, we're going to do a Q&A session.
Where we'll get to all of those tweets
try to go
and stuff. But we really do appreciate
Don't say all, Kyle. Don't promise too much.
Okay, well, yeah.
As many of them as possible, we'll answer some questions and stuff like that.
We'll read them right now.
Let's move along.
All right. Next off, the next segment that I really love doing, because I always win.
Oh, it's this one.
Is Face-Off. Where do you have... Oh, yeah, you have to disable the plugin.
Yeah. All right, hold on.
So, Face-Off is where Paul and I go head-to-head in a particular 2-player online game, usually a really crappy one, and then the loser has to do something terrible. And you guys can pick. You guys can pick what the loser will do, in this game.
Okay.
Now, this is called Drunken Wrestlers, although it should really be called Drunken Boxing, because they're boxing, clearly. The players are boxing in the game. They're not wrestling at all. But as you can see, it's all in Russian. So.
They can't see anything yet, Kyle.
Oh, they can't see anything.
Now they can see.
Oh, there you go. Come on, Paul. All right, so it's called Drunken Wrestlers. It's a Russian game, probably made by some kid, who does this kind of thing.
Some kid in Russia?
Some kid in Russia. Some Russian
What's
kid.
wrong with being a kid in Russia, Kyle?
So, and I just figured it's appropriate. You know, we're drinking. We've been drinking. I feel like if we were to wrestle in real life or box in real life, this is probably what would happen anyway.
Do we even know how the controls work in this game?
I don't, but I think it'll be pretty easy since they're drunken boxers. They can't really. How many moves can they really have? You know, there's probably only one button you have to mash.
Everything gets easier when you drink.
That's right.
All right.
So I believe try the first one.
We'll type the Hayatap Nalipi.
And guys, already start putting into the chat what you want to happen to the loser, or AKA Paul.
Do you want
two? Two's got to be two players, right?
Or zero.
If anyone here knows Russian, please help us.
We need a Russian translator.
I mean, what else could two be in a game at the menu?
I don't know. It's in Russian.
But I've played enough games. I've played enough games to know that is two players.
All right, we're gonna try it.
Go for it.
But we have no idea what the controls are.
We'll figure it out. I mean, obviously, if it's a two-player game, then something. My keys are over here, and yours are over there somewhere.
I am confident.
Maybe it's WASD and arrows. Oh!
I just. What?
Wait.
What?
So can we not?
Did you just win?
I'm the red one.
I'm gonna use your technique from now on.
Not do anything?
Not push any buttons, because I pushed one button and I fell forward on my face and lost.
Because you were drunk.
Clearly.
Because you're really wasted.
Because it is drunken boxing.
It's drunken boxing. Come on.
I'm assuming the top button is the one that we need to
All right,
push.
so what are we playing up to first? I just won one.
All right.
Let's do first to 5.
Best of 5?
First to 5.
First to 5 wins?
First to 5 wins.
All right.
I have a feeling this is going to go by really quick based on your first performance. All right, let's go. You guys can keep track. I think it has a scorekeeper. Oh, shit!
Yes!
Shit!
See? You guys see.
You tricked me. Look,
I'm just
your guy dancing over my drunken body. You just knee me in the head. You don't even know it, and you're about to die.
Exactly. All right. So it's 1-1 now. The game. This is a fantastic game because it requires zero input from the user side.
Yes, it really does.
All right. We're fighting again.
Whoa.
Wait,
you probably got to maintain your... No, get away!
Yeah, now I'm punching you now.
Get away, you bastard.
This is interesting.
No, you can't do that.
Oh, I'm taking all of your life force.
What? Beat you down.
No,
I'm like punching you and shit.
All right.
You got me again.
How did you take so much of my life force away? That's not fair.
Yeah. Kill your life force. I'm just doing WASD. You're just doing arrow keys?
Yeah, I'm just doing arrow keys.
All right.
It seems to be working for the
so
time being.
That was pretty brutal. That was like Fight Club.
That was. We're getting better at this though.
All right. Let's do another one.
Here we go again. Kyle's up 2-1 at this point.
Here we go. Ready?
Yeah, ready.
Go for it. All right, I'm gonna go really slow. Oh no!
Take that. Take that. See how did
I'm choking you. I'm choking you.
Oh, see,
I don't know.
I feel like getting your gloves on top of my gloves is really helping you out.
You should do that again. It is helping me out.
This.
We look a little too comfortable there. Change that. Switch. Move on.
Let's just pause for a moment.
Everyone take a moment.
Okay. Starting up again. All right, this time I'm going to push other buttons. Oh, you can operate your balance. Yeah, take that.
No!
You got the gloves on top of your face.
Yeah, my back against the ropes.
Wait, how are you not?
Just in your face. In your dirty little blank face.
This is really... This game makes zero sense.
I don't know. It's like quap. Oh, no!
Is this...
what am I doing?
See, what I don't understand right now,
I decapitated your body over the rope. I win.
The ropes are made of razor blades.
The plot thickens.
Good lord, this is terrible. All right,
come on.
I
think I got this.
All right.
I think.
Oh, it's changed the perspective on us.
Oh, what? What is this, a replay?
This is completely different
No,
now.
why is it different? I was just getting used to that perspective.
See. And yet somehow you can take life from me, but I can take no life from you. This is what doesn't make any sense.
Try.
And yet I'm bleeding. At least I'm bleeding.
Bleed for me.
And I died again.
Wow.
But you died too. See I think this is a see, because you didn't get
just
a point.
better.
You didn't get a point last time. It's still 2-1.
Oh, that was a.
We both died there.
Okay.
That was a.
No. No. I will not die this time. Oh, I got you. Oh no, you got me pinned down.
See, if only I could strafe. I think this would be.
Maybe there's another key on here that we're missing, Paul.
I think there might be some other.
See, yeah, we did. We both died again.
We keep both dying.
So I guess that disqualifies us if I decapitate you.
Apparently so. You get.
Apparently, cutting you in half isn't good enough for these people.
See, and
no!
The lesson that they're trying to teach here is that when you're boxing with somebody else, killing them will result in disqualification. This is a replay? Is that all this is?
No, this isn't a Is it?
Is it the same replay we're watching over and over again? Let's
you
just
serious?
not do anything and see if the same thing happens. Yes, it's a replay.
It's a We've been playing a freaking replay.
Yes, we've.
It didn't change perspective. I bet people are saying it. This looks like
Yes,
a replay, guys.
everyone in
Yeah,
chat
thank
is
you.
telling
Thank
us
you. We
this.
got it because we're dumb. It took us that long.
I guess to change perspective.
So how do? So we'll
So
just
you
say I
win.
win.
Kyle
Okay,
wins.
I win. We've spent
As
enough
always
time
with
on this.
Face Off.
All right,
Lord.
so I'm gonna scroll up to see what people in the chat have said about you losing and what your punishment should be.
I think the punishment should be never to play Face Off with you again.
You have lost
That's a
every
terrible-
Face Off we've ever done.
And as I keep pointing out, this is because Kyle has rigged the game every single time. He creates.
How could I rig this?
He creates an environment where he will.
This game is
he
inhackable.
will inevitably succeed. Okay.
Loser has to buy the system on Build-A-Rig.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Do the chicken
Right.
dance.
I have to put it together on your channel.
Can you do the chicken dance, Paul?
Did I do the Face Off? I didn't do it, Kyle. Oh.
What?
I didn't do the Face Off lower thirds.
Oh,
we were
man.
too excited.
I spent time on that one.
We were too excited, but we'll show it. We'll use it as a close of this segment.
Okay, fine.
As you can see, Face Off is now represented by 2 sumo wrestlers.
It's me and Paul.
A accurate visual representation of Kyle and I.
Try to find 2 guys who look like us.
Yes, fantastic.
All right, so the loser has to change something noticeable about their appearance with no acknowledgement in your half of the show. So you would have to either wear a wig or bunny ears, or take your shirt off, or wear gloves.
No,
you should wear latex gloves in your segment. Just for in no context. Like, we don't bring it up, we don't respond, we don't explain anything. You're just wearing latex gloves.
I don't have latex gloves.
God damn it! Useless. All right.
Yes. Clearly, I was unprepared for devising my own punishment.
All right.
For
What should
Kyle's
Paul do
segment.
to his appearance? How should he alter his appearance? You have a fake mustache lying around, or
No, I don't.
Come on.
You need to just decide this beforehand.
We just need a trunk of props at your house and my house that we could just ruffle through and let's get some little rabbit ears.
Oh yeah, Twitch Condescend is pointing out that Twitch policy clearly indicates no nipples can be shown while you're live streaming.
Even male nipples?
Yes, male nipples.
What if it's like a stream at the beach? You can't have a dude running around with a shirt off? Good. Damn American.
I don't know. I guess I haven't.
All right, you
Put
got
eyeliner on, paper hat, Tech Syndicate Master Race.
Paper hat.
No shirt.
I like the paper hat. Like a tiny little origami paper hat.
I'm a lazy bum. I've been called a lazy bum for not having. I don't know what that's in reference to. Either not having like fake mustaches lying around or latex gloves.
What kind of lazy bum are you? You don't have latex gloves.
Either way, you're totally right. I failed in that respect. Okay.
All right. Well, we got to figure out something for you. What do you feel most comfortable with? Do you have like a beanie you could wear?
No, I don't think. I think from this point forward, unless you have established what the punishment is prior to the show, like, what are you motioning at? Like,
it's crowdsourced.
It's crowdsourced.
It's crowdsourced punishment.
That's part of
the segment.
No.
Is they choose the penalty.
As of like last week.
I was like, we've been doing this for like 2 weeks now.
Okay.
This is like, we're going on number 3
All I'm
here.
saying is it's hard to come up with something that's like appropriate and not like over the line right off the.
What if you wear like a necklace or a bracelet? Like,
And you have these available right now?
Doesn't your wife have any
We
jewelry?
can't even walk in that direction without one of us crawling under a table.
Have your girlfriend or your wife?
My wife.
Don't tell your wife about your girlfriend. Jesus. Don't you get like a fake earring or something?
You're really getting me in trouble in this show, Kyle.
All right. Well, we'll figure it out. Whether Paul handles it in the next segment or the next episode. I won't forget. I won't let him forget. All right, guys.
Never forget.
So don't worry. Never forget. Never forget 4-1. All right. Last segment.
Oh, we never pointed out that this is not an April Fool's show.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
This has all been real.
Screw April Fools, man.
Yeah, we're going the other way.
Actually, we just didn't plan anything. So.
Yeah, we're just slackers.
Oh, it's also been on the FACEOFF thirds for quite a while.
Oh, okay.
So we got a lot of miles out of that.
All right, so now we're on to news.
Oh, the echo's back. Sorry, guys.
Uh-oh.
Let me kill that.
Oh, no.
Kill that.
Kill it.
It's broadcasting something. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry,
Right,
but at least I know how to fix it. That's
the next
that's what's
lower
important.
third ready, Paul.
Oh yeah.
And our last segment for this side A episode is news.
News. The hardware part of the awesome hardware show. Have we talked about hardware at all so far? I guess we did in the fun or not to fun.
Yeah, Tad. But now here's the hardware that most of you guys probably care more about. Indubitably. We should also get like a little the little news ticker audio. Like that'd be cool to get like audio in there, like
eventually,
like the breaking line news, like breaking news.
Eventually, these are going to be cutting edge.
Yeah.
They're going to be using like the latest 3D generated. Like there's going to be explosions that happen.
Yes.
It's actually going to be like an entire like 2-minute cutscene every time we go to a different segment.
5 minutes.
It's going to be 3D. At least 5 minutes.
At least.
3D generated is going to be a
dragon.
There will be a love story, a dragon.
Yeah. And then
the
like
hero.
Each lower third will each cinematic will progress the story on. So you have to watch the whole.
The
episode
hero will like learn a
ends.
vital lesson. They'll go from the lowest lows to the highest. They'll be a climax.
It's an emotional roller coaster.
and
then everyone dies.
And then everyone dies, and they're like, "Okay, we're ready to talk about hardware news." Exactly. Exactly. All right. So
on that note,
our
first story is the GTX 980 Ti. Talking a little bit about that. Speculation. It's a lot of rumor. Not much has been confirmed yet, but it is supposed to be launching after the summer.
After the summer.
After the summer. Yeah. So some people were like,
"That is actually
maybe
a quote."
The
That's a quote right here. After the summer. Which summer are they talking about? The endless summer?
No.
Because if it's
the
after
finite summer,
if it's after the endless summer,
then it will never.
Then
be
what
out.
they're actually saying is that the 980 Ti will never be released.
Oh, that amazing. All right, so Sweet Clockers. Sweet Clockers is a good resource for rumors and things like that. They've apparently been tipped by a source that the 980 Ti is going to come out after this summer. Preliminary data suggests that it's pretty much all the same specs you might see on the Titan X, with the exception of far less video RAM, so only 6 gigabytes of DDR5.
What's anymore? Might as well throw the card in the garbage bin right now.
Might as well take a shit on it. So yeah, that's boo. Still 3072 CUDA cores of a 384-bit bus, but you will possibly see higher clock speeds on the 980 Ti, especially if NVIDIA allows other manufacturers and board partners to mess around with the aftermarket cooler on it. Then they can potentially give it some better cooling and thus push the clock speed a bit further. Estimated about 10% more or less.
So that and that's like one of the big things for the Titan X, right?
Yeah.
Because at this point there are no custom Titan X's. They're all NVIDIA's design with NVIDIA's cooler. And if you've read any of the benchmarks on them so far, that's actually kind of disappointing because it thermal throttles. It actually hits it's.
They actually say that it's not supposed. This is not supposed to throttle at 84 degrees Celsius. The 980 Ti.
Well, that's good.
It actually does specify that.
Yeah.
Which is going to be another huge benefit for gamers.
But the Titan X does.
Yeah, it does.
But what NVIDIA usually does with the Titan X, since it's their flagship card, is they don't allow third-party add-in board vendors to make their own designs of it. Mm-hmm. With the exception being maybe some EVGA water-cooled designs.
Yeah.
And I think NVIDIA makes the exception for that because they view it more as a customization or an aftermarket thing since it's for water cooling.
Right.
Anyway.
True.
So yeah, 980 Ti will be very exciting when it comes out. I don't want the 980 Ti to come out because I have a two-way GTX 980 configuration. And the longer it goes until the 980 Ti actually launches, the more viability my two-way 980s has.
It's already outdated.
No, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, should have waited for the Titan X's, man.
No,
Sorry,
Titan X's are stupid.
they're weak.
Anyway, so post summer is all we know. Which,
Yeah. So, which leads me to
Yeah.
believe, are they possibly waiting to announce it or release it during the 2015 Game 24 event, or even around the time when?
When is that? Do you know when that is?
That's after summer. I don't know which month though.
After summer.
After summer, same around that same time frame, or
Such
maybe
a nice vague.
could be perhaps around the same time AMD is releasing their 300 series.
Okay.
So maybe they're, because NVIDIA likes to do that. They like to be a step ahead of AMD.
I doubt. Well, they always like to be a step ahead. I doubt we're gonna see that launch at the same time as AMD because AMD's already pushed back the 300 series launch. And if AMD doesn't come out with 300 series, at least a 390 and a 390X by Computex time, then that's bad news. I really doubt that's going to happen though. I feel like 390, 390X are going to come out around Computex, but that's more like beginning of summer.
Shouldn't we already know when they're releasing it based on one of your first stories in your segment?
No.
Oh.
Actually, no, not at all.
Oh. Okay. Never mind.
Sorry.
I was trying to allude to something that.
No,
maybe
that was a good
give me
illusion.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Yeah. No, I feel you. Yeah, I agree that they should probably release it
For
before
me,
that.
late summer to me means they're waiting until like almost Q4,
Mhm.
like late Q3, almost Q4, because they're waiting for the glut of spending that always happens around the holidays, and that's when everybody spends more money,
Yeah.
and having a new product launch at that time is a good thing to have.
Yep.
So that'll probably be a good time financially speaking, and you know everything else.
Right.
For NVIDIA to launch that product.
Now, another thing to consider here with the 980 Ti is pricing. So, what do you guys think of like the pricing that the 980 Ti is going to be based at? You know what I mean? Because I think it's obviously going to be between 980 and Titan X,
Yeah.
which is 1,000, and then you can get a 980 for about 550.
980 is 550 right now.
550 to 1,000.
Which is, in my opinion, already a little on the high side, considering how good of a value the 970 is.
Right.
Actually, we will be talking about this a little bit in my segment.
Yeah.
But
I told you.
I like, for me, it's hard to say how much they would launch this if it's post summer. It's hard for me to say how much this would be without knowing what the 390 and the 390X are going to be, both on the pricing side and the performance side.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know it's got to be above the 980, so
yeah, it's above the 980. So
it can't be too.
But if 390X comes out and then 980 has to drop from 550 to like 400 or something like that, then this might be a different price. If the 980 doesn't have to move, then this will be $650.
I'm hoping it's not over that.
This will be $650, and then you'll have special versions, like binned versions with higher clock speeds and special customized coolers that'll go from the $700 to $750 range, and then you'll see those prices start to drop as AMD releases new cards and that sort of thing. But if the 390X is awesome and is smacking the 980 around, and they have to do a price drop on the 980, then maybe the 980 Ti by the time it launches will be $550.
And this will be 600.
Ish.
Yeah.
And it'll be the same price as the 980.
True.
Who knows?
Yeah. So time will tell.
Yeah.
Is all we can really say for now, but it is fun to kind of speculate on. Next up, Futuremark introduces their 3D Mark API overhead test.
What?
Yeah. So if you guys already have 3D Mark, like Paul and I use 3D Mark all the time for benchmarking and stuff, they're going to be adding another test to it that actually compares the different APIs. So you actually get to see how your specific system performs, whether it's under DirectX 12, DirectX 11, or Mantle.
Well, wait, this is the one they already launched, or they're going to launch? This is a new one?
This is a new one.
A new one?
A new one.
On top of the buildings one?
Yeah, it's designed to measure the difference between these three different APIs. So basically with DirectX 12, you can see how your system might perform better or worse depending on whichever API it's currently using. So this is not intended to be... I'll read it.
Hold on. This is the draw call test.
Draw call. Yeah, it is.
Okay, then this is already out.
Oh, it's already been out. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page.
I wasn't sure if it was out already. Yeah. So a quote from Futuremark: "The purpose of this test is to compare the relative performance of different APIs on a single system rather than the absolute performance of different systems." So, like I said, you're trying to figure out how a particular system might perform, whether it's running Mantle or DirectX 11 or DirectX 12. Now, it's not generally intended to compare graphics performance, so this isn't something that you might see Paul and I using for our video card benchmarks in some of the videos that we do. But they do have plans. Futuremark does have plans to release a new benchmark that does cater to that GPU graphics engine in the future. So I thought it was pretty interesting. That's pretty much it. It's also going to coincide with the launch of Windows 10. So yeah, that's
Okay.
the graphics benchmark. So it'll be like a Firestrike Extreme 2.0 type thing.
Okay.
For DirectX 12. That's going to be coming soon as well.
Because this test from DirectX 12 is testing something very specific, which is draw calls.
Right.
And I wanted to pull this up because, do you guys like AMD Roy? I like AMD Roy. I
He's
appreciate
cool.
his enthusiasm.
Sure.
But I will have to call him out briefly here because he likes to point out certain things. Anytime AMD has a benefit over NVIDIA, he likes to call it out. So, for instance, he's pointing out this main gear test. The 290X outperforms the Titan X by quite a few million draws. And if he was putting it well. So, but this is such a specific test.
Right.
This is such a unique and like centralized test at doing just one thing that a GPU does.
But it doesn't reflect real world performance.
It does not reflect real world performance at all. I can talk. I can enunciate. I swear to God. Yeah. So that's where like this one is like it's cool because kind of like the Unigine Heaven benchmark back when it first launched was the only way to really demonstrate tessellation, which was a new thing when it comes to 3D rendering. That was the only way you could do it. This is really the only way to test how many draw calls. I mean, this is a really good way to test how many draw calls a GPU can handle.
Right.
However, don't look at draw calls and actual overall general GPU performance as exactly the same thing.
Exactly. You're looking at a very zoomed in, narrow portion of the full picture. You're not looking at big picture here. It's a very narrow.
The way I look at it, actually, the parallel I draw here, and it's not a good parallel to explain what draw calls are unless you're really into computers already.
Yeah.
But I look at it similar to like how you would benchmark an SSD.
Mm-hmm.
Because in SSD benchmarking, you benchmark how many megabytes per second it can do on sequential reads and writes. Draw calls to me are kind of like for a GPU what 4K tests are for an SSD.
It's kind of like IOPS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 4K tests is taking very, very small files, and how many of these little individual small files can you access or process? How many of these requests to access that file can you handle at any given time, or how many can you handle in a certain period of time?
Yeah.
That's kind of what these draw call tests are for. It's impractical when it comes to actual performance or like real world performance.
Yeah.
But it is really impressive to see what they're able to do, and it's one of the most like compelling tests that you can look at right now to see DirectX 12 performance.
Exactly. Yeah.
Compared to
that's the real news article
11,
here. Like the real headline here is that this is really the first DirectX 12 test that we've seen publicly released anyway.
Nice.
Even though it might not be the most practical for real world performance, and like I said, that benchmark is coming, or that software is coming soon. Futuremark's already working on that. But for now, this is the first DirectX 12 publicly available application.
Yeah.
And 3D Mark.
Andrew X is asking, what is a draw call? Basically, it's saying in whatever 3D engine you're working with, it's saying here's an object. The object has a texture usually on it, and it's saying draw that object in 3D space right here. So draw call means, and there's for any given like frame that you're looking at in a game, there's going to be tens, hundreds, thousands of draw calls.
Right.
It's saying these are the objects that are in it. Give me that texture from the GPU's frame buffer so that I can put it on the screen, and then it might apply shading or anything like that after in the whole GPU pipeline. So yeah, a draw call is basically saying I need an object, draw it on screen, here it is.
Right. And
whereas you might have a draw call for something that's a very complex texture that might take longer. That's why this test is impractical.
Yeah, exactly.
Is because it's using, from my understanding at least, it's using very simple textures, but a lot of them, and all of them unique.
Yeah.
Whereas a more typical video game would have many fewer draw calls,
but much more complex.
But they might be more complex textures, or they might be, or one of the things that DirectX 12 is actually really cool with is game developers have had to limit the amount of draw calls that they put in video games. They've had to say, oh, we don't want to put too many draw calls. We need to either, we need to reuse these textures or these objects or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas what DirectX 12 is going to allow for developers to say, oh, who cares about draw calls? We can put as many unique elements visually in this game or in this 3D space as we need to, because it's a DirectX 12 game and because the GPUs are going to be able to handle it. So,
right.
Yeah, it's really exciting, but it's kind of difficult to grasp, like right from the get-go. So I understand people are kind of still learning this. As DirectX 12 information starts to come out.
Right.
Okay, though.
But also from what I learned from the article is that draw calls are important in the sense that the more draw calls that you have to make and the more time that takes for your GPU engine to actually process, the larger the burden it is on your CPU. So the more efficient a certain particular API is at making those draw calls efficient, it actually relieves a lot of the workload off of your other components in your system. So.
Yeah, and that's one of the things for DirectX 12 that's really awesome is that it's able to handle those without having to burden the CPU with it. And it's able to process that on the GPU side. Sorry. Okay. Wait. Somebody was asking about this fan right here.
I know this is been like a really popular. I feel like he's like the third crew in our little shindig here.
The fan gets a lot of FaceTime. This is the EVGA GTX 980, and it has their I don't know what the hell they call it.
ACX cooler.
I know it's an ACX cooler.
2.0
They have a
cooler.
name for the fans not spinning. All of the GPU manufacturers created a name.
I'm trying to think of what the name is.
It's like 0 fan stop 0 decibel. I don't know what the hell it is.
Cease fan 2.0.
Anyway, this fan doesn't spin until the GPU gets to a certain temperature. All we're doing with it right now is broadcasting. We don't have any 3D stuff going on. But every once in a while, it gets hot enough to spin the fan up for a second. So I'm sorry that it's a little freaky and that it's very erratic and it's distracting.
It's very distracting.
And I've been planning to either pop that out and drop something else in there.
Put a different video card in there. You don't even need that video. You don't need a 980 in there.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do.
Or the other thing I can do is actually load up EVGA's Precision X software and set the fan curve to actually just keep the fan spinning at a certain RPM. But I haven't done that yet either. All right, Kyle, you have one more.
I have one more story.
Tech news story.
One more tech news story, which is, by the way, we're at 226 viewers. Awesome.
Beautiful.
I think that's like a new high. Seriously, it is. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you,
We
guys.
appreciate it. And then my last news story for my part of the show is the MSI 970A SLI Krait Edition motherboard, which is the first AMD board to have USB 3.1.
It's pretty sexy.
Yeah, Type A. It's not Type C, but still pretty cool. Especially because this is more or less a budget type oriented board.
Yeah.
I think that's really important to note that we're starting to see USB 3.1 being implemented into lower end, not in the lower end, but more affordable motherboards as well. Because obviously USB 3 and 3.1, they're not going to be backwards compatible. So if you have a USB 3.1 external drive, for example, in the future, you won't be able to use it with your old age USB 3.0 compatible motherboard. You're going to need a USB 3.1 motherboard to take full advantage of that 10 gigabit per second transfer speeds, which is twice the speed of USB 3.
3.1 is.
That's USB 2, Paul.
I know. I was looking at this chart and I was like, I had it totally backwards. I was like, look how awesome USB 3.1 is. Look how big the line is. But that's actually the USB. No, they're
usually less is more in the PC world.
MSI, this is kind of a bass-ackwards way of demonstrating USB 3.1. What they're saying is it's 2 times faster. This lower is better. That's simple.
How is that bass-ackwards? All you have to do is read lower is better.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for eons.
You're right. All right, never mind. It's fantastic.
So anyway, twice as fast as USB 3. MSI Krait is actually a pretty sweet motherboard. I want to hit MSI up and see if they might send me a sample of it or something, because it's
Yeah.
really targeted at gamers that are looking for possibly a two-way, either SLI or Crossfire X configuration, but they don't really need all the crazy bells and whistles that will tack on that additional premium for a really expensive motherboard. So you're not really shooting for ROG quality per se, but you still want to maybe run a multi-GPU configuration in your system. Krait is a nice solution for that, and I really do love what they've done with the black and white color scheme. I think that's something pretty unique that lately I've only really seen on like some of the Asus boards, like your Deluxe X99 board that you have. So I think that's pretty cool. But this also like kind of begs the question about USB 3.1 in general. Like, where do we see that coming in as far as like USB 3.1 devices? Like, when do you think we'll start seeing USB 3.1 flash drives and USB 3.1 external drives and stuff like that? Because right now, this is great. It's a good start, but you can't really use it too much unless you have those other peripherals.
I think soon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always like manufacturers are kind of pussies when it comes to something like a new. Sorry for the vulgarity.
A new standard.
It's
no,
like a new
right.
standard like this.
You're right.
But like they're always like hesitant to dive in, because what any manufacturer wants is to be able to produce a product, for that product to sell well, and for them to be able to clear it out and then produce another product, a year or two later.
Right.
With something like USB 3.1, there's a lot of hesitation there, because whereas on one hand everyone wants to be able to say, oh, it's the first motherboard to support USB 3 or USB 3.1 or USB Type C. Like, there's also a hesitation of like, on the other side, like, oh, should we produce this USB Type C product because no one's gonna buy it because everyone's like, I can't plug that into my system.
Right.
For USB 3.1 though, I like boards that have USB 3.1 with Type A connectors, at least for the time being, because USB 3.1 Type A connector, you can have USB 3.1 connectivity, and then you could potentially get an adapter in the future, so you can still do a Type C plug into that or something.
Yeah. And if you had a C connector, you wouldn't be able to use it with anything else. Even if you had a USB 2.0 drive, you couldn't use it. So there's also that. You have backwards compatibility.
Yeah. So you can get adapters and everything, and it's only going to affect the throughput. But I think this year is. I mean, towards the end of this year, we're going to see a lot more USB Type C. The new Apple thin notebook. Whatever it's called, has USB Type C.
The thing that they have
whatever
going on.
that Apple notebook is has Type C, so that's obviously going to get people more into it, and it's going to get a bunch of people to start making adapters for it, because good lord, a single Type C plug on that Apple MacBook Air, right?
I think so.
Yeah. You're kind of limited in connectivity there.
Right.
All right, Kyle, we need to cut your segment
Let's
off.
wrap things up, guys. We've been going on for over an hour now on my segment. And by the way, I wanted to point out.
What?
I wanted to point out that there's always this one guy who comments on our videos. I think his name's David or something. But the only thing he ever comments on every episode of Awesome Hardware that we've done.
So close.
It is so close.
You were so close.
All he does is point out how much longer or shorter one of our episodes is than the other.
It's fantastic.
Or like one of our segments. So he'll be like, Paul's segment was 2 minutes shorter. And then like the next...
David H.
David H., I'm calling you out, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Stop it.
Stop it.
I don't want to know how much longer or shorter.
To stop it.
I guess it doesn't really matter.
He's not saying it in an accusatory manner.
No, I know. It just throws me off.
Okay.
Because I'll be reading through the comments, and usually when you read the comments, it's like good or bad. It's like there's a definitive yes or no to whether or not this person likes what you're doing. But when I get to David's comment,
it's neutral.
It's so neutral that I don't know how to interpret it. I don't know how
better?
It processes.
Are you saying my side of the show was more efficient?
Yeah,
Are you saying my side of the show was less
shorter? Like I didn't have as much content? Like it confuses me, man.
Was it long and boring?
Next time, specify. Be more clear.
No, I like David H. I like that he's going and doing that.
And thank you for participating. But that is going to conclude my segment of this show. Be sure to stay tuned for Paul's segment coming up right now if you're watching us live. If you're not watching us live, go head over to youtube.com/Paul's Hardware and watch side B on his channel. It's going to be good fun. And thank you guys so much for joining us. We had a lot of fun producing this first half of the show.
Think you're going to have to take a pee break on my side of the show?
Absolutely. Can't wait for it.